So I'm coming in on a really interesting chat. I just saw Chris Mack say that his mother passed away in 2022. Sorry about that. And yes, I still speak to her, which I totally get. I totally get. Um, yeah, there are a number of people in our lives who are voices in our head, right? I'm constantly in a situation where there's a decision to be made about something. It could be big, it could be small, it could be just one of those Seinfeld day-to-day issues of life. And I hear my father's voice in the same way, I guess, that Chris Mack talks to his mom, even though she's been gone. I get it. I totally get it. I totally get it. Anyway, hi everybody. I didn't mean to start on such a serious note, but yeah, when you cultivate friends, and obviously when you have family members that you're very close to and who you miss so much when they're gone, I find that they're nevertheless present in that kind of a way. I have a lot that I want to go into today, which is why I'm beginning a moment or two early. The Masters. Oh, forget what I just said. Forget what I just said. Forget what I just said. I was not supposed to say that. Actually, I'll tell you what, I'll come back to what I was about to say in a few moments. See, Chris Mack, you threw me off. You threw me, I'm off my rhythm now because I'm thinking about your mom and that you're speaking to your mom, which I love, by the way. I think that's a wonderful thing. Okay, I'll start this way and then I'll circle back to where I was about to go. Bill Maher. Bill Maher. You have to watch the Bill Maher commentary from last night. Austin McCain is the newsletter weekend editor, and he's a remarkable guy, and he has to get up very early in his part of the country in order to deliver the Saturday newsletter. And we have a routine where I'll set the links, and then I'll say to him, Saturday rules apply, which means look for breaking news. If you see breaking news, you may shuffle my order. You may add something that I didn't have there, and dispatch is then up to you. But early this morning, when I got up, among the things that I saw, Bill Maher's monologue, his opening segment last night, actually it followed the monologue, where, as he describes, he gave his book report from his 12-day, now 13-day ago dinner at the White House with Donald Trump. And I said to Austin in our Slack communication, I said, please make this the number one item in the newsletter today. I so want people to watch what Maher said, and I assure you on Monday on radio, I'll be all over the audio. It's funny, it's poignant, it's insightful, and I happen to agree with so much of what he said. You know, he responds to people who are like, why are you going into the White House? You're normalizing him. He gives you the critique of Trump. He tells a funny story about Trump. It's so amusing to me that he did something that I neglected to do when I was in the Oval Office with Trump. And in Maher's case, he has a laundry list much longer than my own. He had his staff print out a list of all the things that Trump has said about him. And he took it with him and he had Trump sign it. It's very funny, and he explains the whole context. I regretted when I was in the Oval Office with Trump not bringing with me a tweet that he had sent about me years ago saying that Jeff Zucker, this is kind of funny, that Jeff Zucker, who was then the CNN worldwide president, had lost his touch because he'd hired me. Very amusing. So I got that as well. But relative to the more serious things that Maher says, and again, please, when the newsletter comes out, we make it real easy for you. Just click on the link and you can watch it. It's like 10 minutes long. But I have a transcript of it in front of me. So this is Bill Maher early on explaining his dinner with Trump. I know what you've all been waiting for. I would like to give you my book report on my visit to the White House. There are then cheers and applause in the audience. Okay, as you know, 12 days ago, I had dinner with the president, President Trump, set up by my best friend, Kid Rock, or my friend, Kid Rock, because we share a belief there's got to be something better than hurling insults from 3,000 miles away. Let me first say to all the people who treated this like it was some kind of summit meeting, you're ridiculous. Like I was going to sign a treaty or something. I have no power. I'm a fucking comedian. And he's the most powerful leader in the world. I'm not the leader of anything except maybe a contingent of centrist-minded people who think there's got to be a better way of running the country than hating each other every minute. Oh, he had me at that point. Love that. Love that. Put me in that centrist contingent. And I'm trying now, by the way, to work some of this sound into my CNN program today because I so want to amplify it. And then he goes into his areas of disagreement with Donald Trump, which are many, and how he was able to speak to Trump candidly about those areas of disagreement. You know, he's able to say to Trump, "You're scaring people. Why are you scaring so many people?" And then Maher goes on and he gives Trump credit for things that Trump has been able to do. He criticizes Trump for getting rid of the Iranian nuclear deal. I agree with that. I agree with Maher's criticism. I told him parts of his plan for Gaza were wacky, but I supported him in the idea that Gaza could be Dubai instead of hell. I told him he was wrong that he tweeted the night before that I was critical of all things Trump. Not true. Check the tapes. Moving Israel's embassy to Jerusalem. Loved it. I'm glad the cops are getting morale back. DEI had gone too far. Biological men shouldn't be playing women's sports. Sometimes the transcript's a little off, so I'm struggling with it. Europe should pay for their defense. It makes sense that Arab countries should take Arab refugees like the million Syrians who wound up in Germany when Saudi Arabia took none. The president said to Maher, "You're right." And I said, well, you ought to remind your boyfriend in Saudi Arabia the next time you're with him. And then Maher goes on to say that even though he voted for Clinton and Obama, he would never have had a moment with either of them of such candid talk. And then he said this. Well, I'll read that part to you as well. I never felt I had to walk on eggshells around him, meaning Trump. And honestly, I voted for Clinton and Obama, but I would never feel comfortable talking to them the way I was able to talk with Donald Trump. That's just how it went down. Make of it what you will. I feel it's emblematic of why the Democrats are so unpopular these days. And then he goes on to say, even when I checked him on the orangutan, Maher said that Maher said that Trump's father was an orangutan, and Trump sued him. So Maher tells Trump, like, why would you sue me? Because I said your father was an orangutan. It was a joke. And Trump says, because I loved my father. And then the key one. That I'm going to think of turning this into a Sunday poll question. I'm just reporting exactly what I saw in 2.5 hours. I went in to the mine, and that's what's down there. Ready for this now? Give me a quick thumbs up or thumbs down on the line I'm about to read. Not yet. On the line I'm about to read, because I'm thinking this is a poll question for tomorrow. Maher says, I went into the mine, and that's what's down there. A crazy person doesn't live in the White House. A person who plays a crazy person on TV lives there, which I know is fucked up. It's just not as fucked up as I thought it was. Wow. Yay or nay on what he just said. A crazy person doesn't live in the White House. A person who plays a crazy person on TV a lot lives there. Yes or no? Bo, you're among the few dissenters. And Harvey. Yeah, everybody else. Ray Rod, you're a no. Chuck Hall's a no. Russ Robinson is a no. But a lot of yeses. A lot of yeses. As you can tell, I'm just totally taken with Maher's commentary. Really, really interesting. Okay, let me mention something that I should have said at the outset of the program, and that is that in Augusta today, there is a certain tourney taking place amidst the azaleas. Third round. I love watching this. You know what I'll do today? I'm going to write a speech this afternoon that I've been working on for a while, and I have things I want to say. So I'll play it in the background. And I just love it. I'll hear those birds tweeting, and I'll think of spring. 14 of the top 25 players are within striking distance of the lead. Justin Rose is the leader as play resumes today. The BetPark Sportsbook and online casino app and the Playgun Lake app have you covered all weekend long. Bet individual golfer performances, bet winners round by round, and also baseball is back. So much fun when you've got skin in the game, whether your team wins or not. There's always a way to play. And of course, they've got live table games, and they've got blackjack and craps and roulette and the slots and lots of fun stuff. Go to betparks.com or playgunlake.com. Download the app right now and enjoy all the action and excitement from the casino at your fingertips. You got to be 21 and in PA, NJ, or Maryland for BetParks, and 21 and in Michigan for playgunlake.com. Thank you, Parks. Thank you, Playgun Lake. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Okay, so I told you about Maher's commentary last night. It's in the newsletter. I thank my friends at Parks Casino. What I haven't mentioned is today's poll question, which is as follows. Essentially, it's, if we build it, will they come? And if you've been listening to radio this week, you've heard a lot of these themes already from me, because I think that the tariff conversation is misplaced, that the focus has been all about the taxes we impose on our trading partners and the trading partner taxes imposed upon us, when in fact we have more deep-seated issues. This is Minglish, and those deep-seated issues have to do with so many who've checked out of the labor pool for whatever reason. And many of them are men, and many of the most affected jobs are manual labor jobs. And when those men are not working, it sort of triggers a domino reaction that impacts not only them, but also women. And I'm putting this in the context of heterosexual relationships. I asked the Pew Research person who was on the radio this week whether some of these rules apply to the LGBTQ plus community as well. They've not yet done that data, but they are. But you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about, that when men don't have it going on, women don't find them as attractive. Men are checking out of relationships, as well as women pursue relationships with men who are older, who have their act together, and it all dominoes. It all dominoes. And I think these issues, which I don't feel like I'm articulating well for you right now, but I have on radio, and I'll do a better job on TV today, deserve more conversation. And I turn to Scott Galloway for so much guidance on this. And Scott will be a guest on my CNN program today, as will Anthony Scaramucci. The two of them have paired. They're going to launch a podcast called The Lost Boys. And if I could just read you something Scott Galloway said to me previously that I'm going to share as part of his intro, it kind of sums it up. After I run through some of the data, I'm going to say this. This should all sound familiar to regular viewers of this program, because it's a subject I've discussed repeatedly with guests, most notably Scott Galloway, Professor G. As he explains it, men don't comb their hair, put on a suit, or go to work automatically. They need motivation. And one of the primary motivators is, let's face it, sex and companionship. And yet, as Galloway notes, 1 in 3 American men under 30 hasn't had sex in the last year. This is not merely about sexual frustration. It speaks to the formation and functioning of the middle class. Because a household that mixes the risk-taking of a male and the thoughtfulness of a female works well. I'm sure some are going to be horrified that I'm saying this on television. But it's true. So if young men and women have trouble finding each other, that's tragic on a personal level, but also on a social and economic level. Galloway notes that today, young people are 24% less wealthy than they were 40 years ago, while 70-year-olds, the young people from 40 years ago, are 72% wealthier. And 40 years ago, the average age of a home buyer was 36. Today, it's 54. Are young people opting out of a lifestyle, or is it they can't afford it? And then I'll wrap up by saying it's understandable that tariffs are in the headlines, with the president radically changing U.S. policy and the stock market causing whiplash. But there's an ongoing story beneath the headlines that's far more fundamental. What's going on with the generation that will be taking over this country? Got to mingle. Got to get them to mingle and have relationships. Well, that was a lot, wasn't it? That was a lot. Okay. I better go get my noggin powdered. I appreciate all of you for being here. And yeah, Derek, mingle, mingle, mingle. Totally. Get out. It's a shame the weather's not cooperating. Nancy, did I? Nancy has just given me the highest compliment. She has just given me the highest compliment. She said, I've done the weave. But Nancy, you know what I'm going to say? My weaves do come back. Give me credit. Well, you are. But my weaves do come back. You might not think they're going to come back somewhere, but they do come back. They do come back. It's funny. I'll tell you one more thing, and then I'm going to shut down. And that is, I said that I'm finishing a new speech, and I am. And the speech seeks to explore when was America great and weave in some of my mingle thoughts. And I am beginning this speech with a bar scene circa 1978 at the Anchorage in Summers Point, New Jersey. Anybody? Somebody? Anchorage? The Anchorage in Summers Point, New Jersey? Somebody? Anybody? No? I'm going to wait a moment for you to catch up because I know there's a delay here. Steve Fulgara, John Sabini. Okay. Nancy Lawrence, yeah. Anybody going to say 7 for 1? Anybody going to say 7 for 1? Harvey, you know the place, but you never went there? Ethan, you too? Anyway, I'm not going to tell you now because I may lay this out for all of you as well, but there's a reason why I begin the speech. It's the ultimate weave. And to Nancy Lawrence's point, as I'm writing it, I am saying the audience, it's for a specific audience. And the audience that's going to hear this speech, as they're sitting there expecting me to be hardcore politics, when they hear this bar scene story that I want to tell, they are going to be like, who is this guy? And where the hell is this going? And I've calculated based on my word count, it'll take me 4 minutes, maybe 4 minutes and 30 seconds until it starts to make sense. And I know this from experience. Like you can't go too long on a weave without bringing it back because you'll lose the audience. And I feel like the Mendoza line is 5 minutes. Like I can get you to hang with me for 5 minutes before you say, this is nuts. I'm not sticking around for this. All right. See you, everybody. I got to go to work. See ya.